Welcome back to another episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage. I've been having some issues with the fuel line on the Ranger, so today we're going to look at push lock AN fittings compared to stainless braided line AN fittings. So the reason why I'm making this video to show you guys is I always thought these stainless steel braided lines were awesome. That, you know, not only do they look good, but they perform well and they last a long time, and you're not gonna have to worry about them. Wrong. So last night I hopped in the truck. We were gonna take a quick drive up the road just to get some miles on it, and as soon as I turned the key over, well, I'll show you guys what happened. So as you can see, my fuel line is not being very effective and is dumping gas everywhere. That is a -6 braided stainless steel fuel line. I upgraded the fuel lines a couple years ago to this stainless braided stuff because it's very strong, you know, abrasion resistant. It's not going to chafe and rub through the line or anything like that. Now here's the problem. We've only been getting 1 to 2 years of life out of these hoses. This is my third leak on this braided stainless stuff, and Chris's Suburban had a leak in less than a year. So the issue is ethanol in the pump gas is eating away the rubber hose inside the stainless liner. It eats it away, and we don't drive these every single day, so the lines get wet when we turn them on, and then they dry out and crack over time. And then all of a sudden you have an irrigation line underneath your vehicle like you guys just saw. A couple things that you could do to stop this is, number one, you could completely drain the fuel system if you know you're not going to be operating it for a while. For me, that's a big pain in the butt, and I'm not going to do that. This isn't a race car or anything like that. I want to be able to go out and drive it whenever I want to. Option 2 would be to get a Teflon lined fuel hose. It will use AN fittings, but the hose end of the fitting is much different, and it assembles differently than either of these two push locks or stainless. The Teflon lined hose completely resists the ethanol in the pump gas, so it should last for the life of the vehicle. The problem with the Teflon lined hose is it's expensive and the fittings are more expensive. So the line itself is going to be much more costly. I'm going to switch to this push lock style hose. It's much easier to assemble, it's much easier to repair on the trail, and it's actually overall cheaper than the stainless stuff. The fittings are cheaper and the hose is a little bit cheaper. In my experience, the stainless braided hose has been a complete disaster. It worked well for the first year. After that, I've had nothing but issues. If this were to fail on me out on the trail, I would be hosed, so to say. It's much harder to splice in a line, so one way you could repair it if you did have a leak out in the trail, you could cut it, get a barb or a couple barbs and some spare line that you would have, and then splice it in there to fix that leak. Now the problem is you need a cutter to be able to do that. So you either need some cutters like these, a hacksaw, or a grinder. Now I don't like carrying around tools that I can't use for many other things. Yeah, I could bring these cutters with me, but they're kind of big and heavy, and their only purpose would be to cut this line. So with this push lock, if I do have to make a trail repair, I could use a pocket knife to cut this stuff. It's pretty flexible and it's much softer than this metal braid. So there's another advantage to this. Another advantage to the push lock is how easy it goes together. Now I'll show you real quick the two different ways to put this stuff together. It's very simple. All right, now the push lock style. So I have two different fittings. This is a 45-degree fitting, and then this is just a straight fitting. So you can see there's a barb on one end and then the AN side on the other. It's very easy. It's pretty warm outside, so the hose is nice and flexible. If you're assembling this in the cold, you might need a heat gun or something like that, but it is as simple as just pushing this over the barb. I'm not gonna assemble this one right now, but that's all you have to do. Just push it on there. You might need to put on a little bit, some lubricant, you know, some people use Vaseline WD-40, anything like that, and just slips right on there. Now, the braided stainless stuff is a pain to put together. It's much more time consuming, so this is all taped up because it has that stainless braid that's been cut. So when you cut this, I like these cutters the best. There's some big old cutters I got from Harbor Freight. I've used a grinder in the past, and I've heard people using a hacksaw. This has been the most effective for me. It's quick, it's clean, and that's the biggest thing you need is a clean cut. You can see you need a cut that's completely flat, and as soon as you cut it, these little strands of metal start fraying apart. So when you put it together, be very careful. I've got them underneath my fingernail, I've stabbed myself in the hand. It's a total pain in the butt. But the way this works is first you will slip this over the hose, and then this actually gets threaded into it. So the way this goes, this is the tricky part, is getting every little fiber and everything into the sleeve. Alright, so once you get it on there, then I kind of push it and twist it, and you get it to seat inside there. It's hard to tell, you guys probably can't see in the camera, but there's a little shoulder inside there, so you can only get it so far. Once you get this part of the fitting on the hose, you just thread this in there, like such. Now it will get pretty difficult in a second here, and one thing I recommend is take a piece of tape and put it right here, so as you're threading this together you could tell if this is actually pulling off the hose. And then you'll need a couple wrenches. Some people will put it in a vise. You just put it in there, hold it there, and then thread this in, and then that's how it goes. So much more time consuming to put it together. You could stab yourself like I did right there, and overall it's just a pain in the ass. The push lock definitely seems like the way to go. Alright guys, well I hope this quick video helped you make a choice between push lock and some stainless if that's where you're looking right now. I recommend the push lock. It's much easier to put together, it's easier to repair if you do get a leak, and it's cheaper. The stainless, it looks better, but I've had nothing but problems with it after the first year of use. So I'm not recommending the stainless lines. It's also a little bit more expensive. Now, if you have the money for it, go check out that Teflon PTFE hose. And hey, comment down below if you're using that and let me know how that's working out for you. If you guys like this video, if it helped you out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got more little projects like this on the way. And until next time, stay reckless.